Welcome to the Rusted Garden. Today I want to show you how to get your cool weather crops set up for the fall. We're going to start all these in plastic seed cells, some of them in peat moss here. These are all going to start outdoors and they'll be ready for planting for mid-August so that come September, October we have more cool weather crops. Before I get to that, I want to talk about stuff that's on sale. Right now these are all organic fertilizers. If you go to Walmart, over the last week, 2 weeks, I've been buying these 30, 40, 50% off. For instance, this is Eco Scraps. This is normally $7 a bag. I got these each for $2.50 a bag. The Garden Limes usually probably $4.50, maybe $5. I got that for $2.50. Blood meal and, well, bone meal and blood meal both go for $7 or $8 a bag. I got these for $4 and $4.50 each. This was a really good deal. This is Kelp. These are for micronutrients. Usually it's about $9.99. For this it was only $5. A whole gallon of fish fertilizer, a 511 fertilizer, usually $12 or $13. This was only $7. So if you get out to Walmart now, you'll probably find these products on sale from anywhere from 30 to 50% off. This is Garden Tone organic fertilizer. It's an 8-pound bag, usually about $10 or $11. That was only $5. So Walmart has their stuff on sale, and it's a good idea to buy your garden products now, save a lot of money, and then you'll have them, of course, for next year. Now, some cool weather crops that I'd like to start in these peat pots are beets, 3 kinds of beets, bull's blood, your standard Detroit beet, and cylindrica, or cylindra, and then peas. And the reason I like to use these peat pots is because we're going to be outside. Don't need to worry about bugs or disease or anything. I'm using plain old garden soil. Garden soil is a lot thicker, lots of pieces of wood in there. This is not great for seed starting tiny seeds like lettuces that I'm going to show you in a second, but it's great and perfectly fine for peas. To set up the peas, I put in the soil, press it in nice and hard so that it packs in there, and just put a little dip in there. And we've got our sugar snaps. Actually, we've got 2 kinds. So these are the Cascadia. And I put in 2 seeds per. I've already planted some of these in containers. I already have some going, but you can't have too many peas. Press them in. These are the sugar snaps. Same exact thing real quick. I'm going to do them all at once. 2 in each spot. And when I go to plant these, I'll either drop it in the whole cell or I'll break them into 2s or to 1s, but I'll plant the peat pot and everything right into the ground. And this again is the only time I really like using the peat pots. And again, press those in. Now, these are bull's blood. If you're growing the beets, just for the leaves, put in 3 or 4 of these. Now, beets come in pods, so this is not a single seed. Inside of here are many seeds. I'm going to grow these just for the greens, so I'm dropping in 3 seeds per pod. And again, I'm just going to harvest these really delicious red leaves off of there. That'll be for salads. If I was growing them for the beet, I would only put in 1 pod, and then I would thin it to 1 plant. And again, press those in. So I'm using the garden soil for this because it's kind of coarse. There's just lots of wood chunks in it, like that. You don't want that for fine seed starting. Cover it up. Because this is outdoors, don't worry about the extra mess. The roots of these seeds will come out the bottom. We're going to bottom water all of this. I'll show you how to do that. And this is all I do to set it up. Press it in. Here's the Cascadia. And these can just sit outside and start growing. Again, for the fall weather. Or for the cool weather, for the fall. Here's the flats that I like using for seed starting. It's the plastic flats. It's seed starting mix. I use the Jiffy starting mix, which I really recommend. These are more warm weather plants, kind of the second round. Before I get to the planting, I just want to show you an example of something that's really important. This is the seed starting mix that I filled my trays with. It's pre-moistened, and it's really important that you pre-moisten it. Seed starting mix comes totally dry, and this is why you do it. If you put the dry mix right into here and then you try and bottom water, this is what's going to happen. It's all going to float on top of the water, and it can float like that for days. It's just going to float. You want to pre-moisten it so that it much more easily absorbs water and you can work with it more. And when you put in pre-moistened stuff, it starts to sink really quickly. And here's the difference again. Even if we mix that up, you can see that a lot of it's starting to sink right on top. The water's already come to the top, and on this, even if you shake it, it's not sinking and the top is staying perfectly dry. So definitely pre-moisten your starting mix. So once it's pre-moistened, get it into these trays, and this is how I set it up. I use the popsicle sticks to label everything. And right in here, I've got my red romaine, and I put in, there's a lot in here. These seeds are a little bit older, so I'm using more. But I would put in 5, 6, 7 lettuce seeds. And you just mix them into 1/4 of an inch, just like that. Now if you notice, the seed starting mix in here is pretty packed. And this is what I like to do with it. It's called thumb packing, and it's a lot of my videos, especially outdoors, but you want a nice solid starting base. But outdoors, moisture is going to be an issue. So fill it up with the starting mix, pack it in there with your thumb, add some more, press it in, and then you have a nice starting base, a pre-moistened starting mix for your seeds to start in. And that's what I did with all of these. Here's spinach, 2 or 3 spinach seeds. The spinach I don't mix in, I just press with the end of the popsicle stick. Press it down 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. That's what I do with this spinach seeds. And then I have black seeded Simpson, red sales, red leaf, another red leaf, and this is broccoli rabe. All tiny seeds, so I would just mix them in just like that. I'm not going to do all that on the video, but I did it with these. So I have a Mizuna. These are mustard greens. A Mizuna, a deep purple mustard, some endives, Batavian, some lettuce, Danielle, another endive, and 7-top. Once I mix them in, I just take my thumb and I press everything down. It is really nicely packed in there. You want a great base. These are already starting to dry. So the more starting mix you have packed in there, the more it's going to hold the moisture for when it's outside. So once you mix them all, just like that, about 1/4 inch in, just press everything down. Take some more starting mix and just cover it. And that's all you do. You'll have your cool weather crops growing outside, ready to go and get into the ground in August, and you'll have plenty of greens, peas, beets for September and October. Now to water this, I'll just fill this tray up about 1/4 the way with water, drop these in. I'll leave the excess in here outside. When I do this indoors, I drain out the excess water, but go ahead, leave excess water in there. It'll act, you know, just like a basic wicking system. It'll wick up the water as it needs it. It'll keep your seedlings from drying out, especially in the hot August days, but extra water in the bottom is perfectly fine. So water it, get this started. You don't need to feed these with anything until they germinate, maybe 7-10 days. And once you do that, use like quarter strength Miracle Grow or regular strength low end fertilizer like Job's, which is I think a 3-5-4 fertilizer, just a low end NPK fertilizer. You can use organic, you can use the processed fertilizers, however you want to do it, just a little bit. That will keep them growing. And then you're going to take these plugs, divide them in half if you want, thin them down to 1 if you want, but you can take 72 cells, divide them in half, you're going to have 144 plants. And when I'm growing greens for the fall, I'm not just trying to grow one plant, I'm just trying to get a lot of leaves. And I'll do an update video and show you how I plant all this. But this is how I get my cool weather vegetables started. You should definitely get them growing now. Today is August 7th. Over the next week, most of these plants mature within 35 to 60 days. There's plenty of warmth left for them to grow and get established, and they do like the cool weather, so you don't need to worry about it. And radishes can take anywhere from 25 to 40 days. Put them right in the ground, and you can start doing these now and then every 2 weeks, and really use your fall to keep these cool weather crops going, and just keep going even into the frost. Some of these can take some frost, so you can get into October, November in a lot of areas. A lot of times once the summer ends, we stop gardening. Get your cool weather vegetables out there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my blog at www.therestedgarden.blogspot.com, and also check out my YouTube videos. Thanks.